You with the stars in your eyes. This is dinner party tonight, Valentine's Day. We're going to be making a romantic evening for the one you love, be it boy or girl. We're going to be having modern steez shrimp cocktail. That means modern style. Then we're going to serve ribeyes, hasselback potatoes, pretty fancy, and spinach. What are you gonna finish up with? Why, we're gonna finish up with a chocolate mousse that's going to blow your mind. You can prepare the mousse and the shrimp the night before if you have time, but this is designed to be prepared in one day, and we're gonna show you how to make a luxurious meal for two. That said, it should be a day that you don't have to go to work, because it is kind of sort of a day-long process. The first thing you're going to do in the morning is remove the meat from the refrigerator, because as all you dinner partiers know, you never cook meat out of the refrigerator. It has to come to room temperature. So we have these beautiful ribeyes, and look what they gave me. Now, I don't know how to explain to you. That is a thing of beauty. So you're going to take your ribeyes out and let them come to room temperature. Okay, chocolate mousse, as they say in Rosemary's Baby. I'm going to tell you how to make a chocolate mousse that you're going to make for the rest of your life. This recipe is Jody Williams's from her book Bouvette. Jody runs and owns Bouvette, the restaurant, as well as Via Carota with her partner Rita Sodi. And Rita owns Is Sodi on Christopher Street. Basically, it's a triangle of chicness. They make a home away from home. They're the best restaurants in the world, I think. Anyway, her book is phenomenal. The recipes are flawless, no joke. This one in particular. The first time I made it, I thought, this isn't gonna work. And it works beautifully every time. Chocolate mousse, here we come. So an important thing about this mousse is that it has to stay in the fridge for about 4 hours to set up after you make it. It's essential. So the first thing you're gonna do is melt some chocolate with butter. It's 1.5 sticks of butter and 8 ounces of chocolate. Now, if you're like me, you have to put a zip tie around the chocolate chips so you don't go into the pantry and eat the chocolate chips. So I'm gonna measure out 8 ounces. Basically, I'm gonna do it like this because I'm doing the show. Normally, I would eyeball it. Here's your chocolate. Here's your butter. Pick up the butter and put it in the chocolate. It's extremely easy. Take this and set it over a deep pot with some warm or hot water in the bottom, and it's gonna melt together and meld together. And this has a fancy French name. It's called a bain-marie, whatever. Basically, you're gonna put water here and heat it until it's almost boiling, and you're gonna set your bowl over it like this. The rule is you're not supposed to let the bottom of the bowl touch the water. It doesn't really matter. This bowl will get nuclear, or nuclear, as George W. used to say. So this is going to slowly melt, and then we're going to stir it, and it's going to make a lovely velvety base for the mousse, or the mouse. Okay, so while that's melting, you have a few minutes, you're going to separate 4 eggs, basically taking the yolk away from the white. So you need 3 yolks and 4 whites, so you're going to waste a yolk, essentially. And then you're going to combine the egg yolks until they're a lovely, smooth yellow thing. And you're going to make sure that your egg whites are pristine, have no yolk, because if they have yolk, they're not going to whip properly. Be careful of the edge. Don't worry, I know it looks weird. It's going to be fine. All right, so whipping egg whites. What you're going to do is add a little bit of caster sugar, which all the dinner partiers know about. Don't use confectioner sugar. It will make a paste. So you want to take, I don't know what it is, 1.5 tablespoons. I forget the recipe. Just take some sugar, like about this amount, and put it in the egg whites. You're going to plug this in. Ah, it's already on! If you've never done this before, I'm gonna tell you something. If there's anything in this, including water, it's not gonna work. So the bowl has to be dry and the yolks have to be pristine. Here we go. If the boy is here, don't do this. Okay, what does until stiff peaks form mean? So when I do this, I want the egg whites to stay up in a stiff peak. They're not doing it yet. I have to check that, sorry guys. All right, here we go. So keep beating it, big noise. Look for the peak, not really a stiff peak yet. This is the lightness in your mousse. This is what makes it mousse. That's a pretty stiff peak. When this is fully melted, which it isn't yet, you're gonna let it cool for a second. You're almost done making the mousse. Is that amazing or what? Ah! Here's the chocolate and butter melted together. You know, these are awesome. They're from Amazon. They're called Birchware, and they're disposable tasting spoons, and they're compostable and obviously biodegradable. They're awesome. Let that cool for a little bit. And the next thing you're gonna do is combine the egg yolks into the chocolate. Resist the urge to do it all at once, okay? Jody tells you that, and like I tell you, she is not fooling around. So like I said, resist the urge. So what I'm gonna do is a little bit, incorporate. Little bit, incorporate. This keeps your mousse silky. Little bit, incorporate. Now your brain is gonna say, what? It doesn't make any difference. Why can't I put it in all at once? Trust me, don't put it in all at once. Okay, last little bit. Okay, now I'm gonna put this into the bowl that we're gonna actually make the mousse in. I'm gonna pour this in like that. Make sure we get all that chocolate. So you may have noticed that it has no sugar, which you would think for a mousse, but the sugar's in the chocolate and a tiny bit in the egg whites. Oh, look at that. Now we're gonna do something called fold in the egg whites, something that might be scary for people who've never done it. All that means is we're trying not to deflate this. We're trying to keep it puffy. So how do you do that? Well, you take a little piece of it like this. Okay. And you fold over the chocolate like this until you can't see the egg white. Okay, you're gonna fold it, fold it. You can div it a little bit like this if you want. Fold over. Take another section. Oops, that was a big one. Fold it. Now this is luxurious. The first time I made it, my friend David Schaefer ate the entire bowl. Don't be scared of this. One time, Reggie, who does all of our still photography, and I made soufflés, and we were so terrified of this part. Don't be terrified of it. Just don't mash down the egg whites. Boop, here we go. Now this is your presentation bowl, so you're gonna have to clean the edges when you're done. So you can almost see it. It's like white, besides the big lumps, it's like white foam inside. That's what you want. See, every time it's surprising, you go down here, oh, there's another chocolate stream, you know? You can do a little tiny circular to break it up a little bit, but don't mash it. And you can see the white. You can see the bubbles. That's what you want. Oh my God, it's perfect. You're gonna serve it in this, so you need to clean this bowl. You never serve anything in a filthy bowl like that. It's gross. I don't care how rustic you are. You're telling me there's a guy or girl in the world who would not freak out if you served that Gorgeous beauty right there. If you're making this mousse for Valentine's Day, you might want to use chantilly cream. And an interesting addition to chantilly cream that I discovered over Christmas is you get one of those miniature bottles of Bailey's, which you're never going to use anyway, but you get this miniature bottle of Bailey's and you put it in the cream and combine it, and then you whip it, and it's like whiskey whipped cream. It's the best thing on the planet. For chantilly cream, look here. This has to go in the fridge for about 4 hours. You want to cover it in case you have cut up onions in your fridge or something. But when you cover it, you want to make sure you don't seal it because it will make some condensation as it cools. So loosely cover it to begin with. And you see it's quite loose. Goodbye, little mousse. Have a good time in the fridge. Are the stars out tonight? Let's make some shrimp cocktail. Now, this is the day of your party. What I would do is assemble these and put them in the fridge. So you can just whip them out when the boy or girl arrives. You've boiled your shrimp in advance. For tips on boiling shrimp, look here. Basically, you just boil them, you clean them, take the poo sac out, and boil them for about 2.5 minutes. So they're like that. Is this a special dinner party or what? Are you making an effort for this person or not? Okay? You're not going to go to the store and buy cocktail sauce. You're going to make your own cocktail sauce, and we're going to serve it with our shrimp in the modern stees. That means style. Easy style stees. So we're going to make cocktail sauce. What is cocktail sauce? Go to the store and look at the back of the cocktail sauce. What are the ingredients? Really ketchup, horseradish, vinegar, and lemon. Make it. Here we go. Organic. Excuse me. Sorry. Woo! I love cocktail sauce. When I was a little... Nice, Leonard. Good job. When I was a kid, I used to eat like the containers of cocktail sauce with a spoon. I loved it so much. Here we go. I'm going to make it look like cocktail sauce. So here's my ketchup. How much goes in? I guess we'll find out. Is it that much? Maybe. Kind of looks like cocktail sauce, doesn't it? Tastes like it too. Boop. I'm going to make mine extra spicy. This is facilely easy. Take a lemon. You don't want any seeds. Cut a little piece of lemon like that. Lemon it up. I have a sneaking suspicion I just made cocktail sauce. It's delicious. Trust yourself. Does it taste good? You did it. Does it not taste good? You didn't do it. Fix it. Don't be scared. Reason and enterprise. I'm going to put a little bit of this liquid. I'm purely going on flavor here. A little bit more of this. I love horseradish too. One time I was at a buffet in Vegas during Passover, and I took this big thing of mashed potatoes and I put it on my plate, and I went back to my seat and I put a huge spoon in it and I put it in my mouth, and it was horseradish. That was a surprise. Okay, delicious. So my idea for the modern stees, easy style, is to take a shrimp, remove the tail, and I thought what I could do is take a little piece of, this is sort of baby Boston lettuce, but find any lettuce that makes a small, like a cup like that. Put a little bit of cocktail sauce in the bottom of the cup, and then put the shrimp in the cup, like that. So I'm gonna make this more beautiful. This is white, so I'm just gonna take, it doesn't stand up very well. I'm gonna take just a little cracked pepper across the top. And then I'm going to place it on my presentation plate. And I'm gonna make a few of these so that they're ready, in a circle for my guests. So if you're gonna make shrimp cocktail, I would suggest thinking of a new way of serving it. This one is great. It's beautiful, crisp, light introduction to a luxurious, sexual dinner. So you know what? If you've completed all that we just talked about, you can take a break now. Maybe you want to watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Maybe you want to watch Top Chef. Snapped. Dateline, of course, 48 hours. It's a good time to take a break. The rest of the meal takes about 2 hours, but it's 2 focused hours. So give yourself time with your break to have 2 hours to complete your romantic dinner for 2. So here's my break. Let's see what these are. Ooh. This one's shaped like an ice cream cone. I don't even like chocolate, except this looks like a chocolate-covered cherry, which I love. I'll build a stairway to paradise with a new step every day. I'm gonna get there at any price. That's nice. The whole day you're gonna do that? Riding into town, a whapping and a slapping, every living thing within an inch of its life. What's that from? Let's make the hasselback potatoes. Now, these are kind of old-fashioned, 60s, 70s kind of, but they're very fancy and they're kind of a mixture between potato chips and mashed potatoes. But here's the key. They do take a little bit more than an hour, kind of the amount of time it would take to bake this potato. So think of that when you're timing your meal. These take about an hour and change at around 400, 380. Here we go. The first thing you're going to do before you cut your potatoes is make the sort of sauce. The sauce consists of some butter and some herbs and salt and pepper. So you're just going to take, thyme is nice, a little bit of sage. Always be careful with sage because it's, if you use too much sage, it can taste like medicine. So as usual, you're just going to strip the flowers and leave the stick. Okay? I'm going to take some parsley, which has been washed and thoroughly dried in a paper towel, and do a little quick chiffonade. Mind your fingers. Doesn't have to be too fancy. Throw that in. And then we're just going to take this to the stove and melt it. And we're going to use that to paint on the potatoes. You'll see. It's fabulous. The boy or girl is coming in about an hour and a half, maybe hour 45. Now's the time to do this. Hasselback potatoes, I don't know where the name comes from. You can look it up. Are basically potatoes that are cut into tiny slices, but not through to the bottom. You could do that like this, or you could use a trick. Take 2 spoons of like thickness. I'm going to put this at a slight angle. Kind of hold the spoons and the potato. You can also use 2 chopsticks, which we chose in Valentine colors. Like a Valentine alien. See what I'm doing here? You want the spoons like this and the potato resting in the middle so that the bottom of the potato doesn't get cut. It's stopped by, the knife is stopped by the spoons. Keep on cutting, and while we're cutting, we can ask an interesting question. Who do you prefer? Bobby or Jack Kennedy? This is stuff you can talk to the boy or girl about. Did you see that movie, Jackie? It's fabulous. I didn't think Peter Sarsgaard was a good choice for Bobby, though. Yikes, I'm going to turn it around. Ah! I'm making a potato fan. That's right, Leonard. Oh, Leonard. Okay, this is the best one I've ever done. So it should open up slightly like a fan, like a, anybody want to play cards? Be careful, because if you pull them, they will break, because there's only a tiny distance down here. So put them in a nice little, you are gonna be murdered, cooked, and eaten. Do you understand me? I'm gonna do it. Okay, grab your pot of melted butter and bring it over to your workstation. It's nice to do this. If I had rosemary, rosemary might be a slightly better choice, but put some herbs in your little area just to make a nice fragrance. And then you're gonna take a brush, as I've told you, I believe before, buy the silicone ones. The hair one, they just don't work, and they deposit little hairs. It's awful. So you're gonna take your thing like this, and you're gonna paint all over these, okay? You're gonna paint them, and then you're gonna do this. You're gonna kind of open the folds and pour in the butter, said the actress to the bishop. I mean, it is Valentine's Day after all. You want to make sure that it gets into all of those little crevices. And keep the remainder here because you might paint them a couple times while they're in the oven. So leave that where it's handy. And then we're going to take this to the oven, which is at about 400 degrees. Takes about an hour and change. Goodbye, potatoes. Here's the deal. The boy or the girl are coming in about 25 minutes or so, maybe 30 minutes. Now's a good time to make sure that your shrimp cups are assembled. If your house is not boiling hot, you can take them out and make your presentation area. Make sure your champagne is cold or your red wine or whatever you're serving. And for tips on buying and serving wine, go here. Let's make ribeyes. As I have always recommended to you, please go to Hudson & Charles on Hudson & Charles, run by Kevin and Jay, real butchers. They know where the meat comes from, they know how it was treated, and they know how to break down a full animal, which is a rare skill. Hudson & Charles. My brother also has a butcher shop in Vermont called the Vermont Butcher Shop. And if you're up that way, it's pretty superb. But in New York, Hudson & Charles all the way. And of course, remember to tip your butcher. You don't have to tip them every time you go in the shop, but you should definitely tip them at Christmas and give them a little something, okay? If they don't want to take tips every day, tip them. Let's make ribeyes. I'm going to tell you why. Ribeye is the best steak. A filet, which is the center part of a tenderloin, has no fat or very little fat. So you have to be kind of expert to cook that because it can dry out very quickly. The ribeye is really marbled and it has plenty of fat that bastes it and gives it a lot of flavor when you're cooking it. These take about 2 minutes on each side and about 7 minutes in the oven, 7 or 8 minutes. Then they have to rest for about 10 minutes. So think about that as you're preparing for the arrival of your guest. Here's the thing about steak, okay? Most people don't know that steak is actually very easy to cook. It's really not frightening, and I'm going to break it down for you. The only seasoning you need is salt and pepper. Liberally salt them, comme ça, flip it, and salt on the other side. And this does some fancy chemistry thing. And then you want to put the sides sort of in the salt that you didn't get on, that fell off like this. And we're going to liberally pepper both sides. And you're going to leave this until it has a sort of a sheen on it. These are bone dry, patted them dry. Okay, so you want to make it be slightly shiny, but not weeping. Amazing. So then mop up again, flip and mop, and you're going to leave this just for a few minutes. You can do this outside in a pan if you have a grill, or you can do it inside. We're going to sear both sides, about 2 minutes per side. We're going to put it in the oven at 400 convection, 430 normal, for about 7 minutes. Big whoop, all right? So first of all, what we're going to do is heat our pan. You can use a cast iron pan if you have one big enough. I'm just going to tell you in advance, this pan is a little bit too small. But I didn't want to mess up the big pan, so I'm using this one. And then we're going to use some butter, like this. And we're going to kind of melt the butter and sear the steaks. So what does that mean? It means the pan has to be hot because we're creating a seal on the steak's flesh. You know, it's a big piece of meat. So, said the actress to the bishop, so, you know, it could give some people indigestion, but, or Reggie says she gets the meat sweats. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to lay these in the pan. Now, if you're nervous or you've never done it before, you can time it. 2 minutes per side. So it's searing, it's smoking. You know, it is smoking, so I'm going to open the vent just to show you. You might have a vent problem. Searing them, searing them, searing them, searing them, searing them. Oh, oh. I'm going to flip them. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. I mean, I don't know how you get better than that. Now, at this point, the person shouldn't be here because of the smoke. So try and time this. It's going to be 7 minutes in there, 10-minute rest. It's a little bit close, but you can do this now. You've been watching these shows. You can do this. Your oven has been cooking the potatoes, so it's at 400 convection, 430 not. So it's already ready for you. I'm going to go for this because they're looking beautiful to me. I'm checking the other side. Oh, Mary. Turn the heat off. Take this right into your oven. So while your steaks are in the oven, you can prep your spinach. Now I, of course, buy it pre-washed. This is ready to eat. The boy or the girl doesn't want to see you do this. It's not nice. So put this in a sieve or something so it doesn't look like it came out of a bag, even though who cares, but I care. Okay. The other thing is, it looks like a lot of spinach, but it's not. So I would normally cook 2 bags for 2 people, but it's my timer. Ah! We're going to use this very chefy thing called a sizzle platter. I'll take out the first one, set it on that. I mean, give me a break. Second one. Knob of butter, knob of butter. There's butter in here too, of course. Okay. Lightly tent them. Comme ça. Now your guest is here. Don't be afraid to let this rest for 7 minutes. What's going to happen is all the juice that got crazy in the oven is going to redistribute in the meat. It's essential. People don't do that. And then you serve meat and it shreds, even though it's rare. That's because it hasn't rested. So always rest your meat, said the actress to the bishop. The steaks are resting. The person is there. You've had a few drinks. You're ready to eat dinner. He's had some shrimp cups, etc. This takes about 3 minutes. So you want to time this so that you're cooking it. This can be in front of the person. Basically, it has 3 ingredients, 4 counting olive oil. Lemon, shallots, and spinach. Salt and pepper. So it's really 6.
Hot pan olive oil.
That's right. So we're going to heat this pan up. You're going to put a little olive oil in there, not too much. Look at your amount of spinach. This pan is also too small, by the way. But spinach will shrink tremendously. What would you serve with this? I would serve champagne and a red wine. With the steaks, you want a red wine. But don't listen to those rules. If you don't like red wine, drink white wine. There's no rule. Nothing is that stuffy. Truly stylish things are never stuffy or weird or like superficially stuck onto something. Style is a deep thing. My dad told me you can do whatever you want and you can wear whatever you want as long as you have style. Man, was he right. So you can put a little lemon juice in with the olive oil, shallots. Kind of the same preparation as bok choy. I'm going to saute this until it's a little bit translucent. What do you guys think the best song ever written about New York is? It's a good question. So think about it and write your answer. What do you think the best song ever written about New York is? It's a little bit translucent. I'm going to let it go for a second longer. So now you're going to put the lemon in because you're making liquid. Don't be nervous about this amount. This is too small, but it'll work fine. It's already half cooked, believe it or not. You can give it a little more olive oil if you want. Time to season. A little bit of salt. You know why you throw salt over your shoulder? Because the devil loves salt. I don't believe in any of this stuff, but the devil loves salt. So when you drop salt, or if you have salt, you throw it in. He's coming up behind you to grab the salt, so you can throw it in his eye. That's what that comes from. Oh, it's good. Oh, it's good. See how it's shrinking? It's totally manageable now. So that's done. It's wilted, salt and pepper and lemon and olive oil. Oh, it's heavy. Jeez Louise. That's a heavy pan. You have your beautiful greens there. I'm going to taste this. Ooh, very lemony. And that's it. Anybody can do this. It takes 2 seconds, and it's a lovely side dish. Try it with spinach, bok choy, bitter lettuces even. You can do arugula is really good. Watercress cooked is delicious. So the preparation is easy. So your potatoes are ready. We're going to take them out. And they've turned into gorgeous potato chip baked potatoes. We're just going to take the leftover butter and kind of pour it over like this. Try to get into all the little flaps like that. Oh yeah, boom, boom, boom. So your potatoes are done, your spinach is done, your steaks are done. It's time for a romantic evening with someone. You want to seal the deal. You've served this person steak, scrimps, spinach, champagne, red wine, but you really want to explore the audacity of hope. Serve the mousse. I'm so glad you enjoyed dinner. My horn rims are covering up my fiery inner turmoil. Would you like some mousse? I would allow them to fill their own cup, but some people like to, scoop it and put it in the cups. And then when they serve it, you put your cream on it. Chantilly cream. So for your romantic dinner for two, whatever two that may be, we have a beautiful modern take on shrimp cocktail in crispy lettuce cups, unctuous, delicious potato chip, baked potato, hasselback potatoes. My God, they're good. 2 beautiful bone-in ribeyes, very simple lemony spinach. To finish, chocolate mousse with sweetened whipped cream, red wine, champagne, and you. So whoever your Valentine is, even if your Valentine is a dog with 11 teeth removed, they were rotten. I hope you have a great, fancy, romantic dinner party. I hope it's a success. Like us, subscribe, Ask me questions. I'll try and answer all of them. And that's it. From dinner party tonight. Searing them, searing them, searing them, searing them, searing them. Ah, ah.